Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Tapa Siddho Asi Kashyapa Varado Aham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Tapa Siddho Asi Kashyapa Varado Aham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Tapa Siddho Asi Kashyapa Varado Aham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Chapam Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Tapa Siddho Kashyapam Varado Aham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Kashyapam Varaha Matajis Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Siddho Kashyapa Varadoham Anuprapto Tam Sito Shri Brahmavacha Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Tapa Siddho Asi Kashyapa Varado Aham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varha. Word to word translation, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat. Shri Brahma Uvachaha. Lord Brahma said, Uttishta, please get up. Uttishta, get up. Bhadram, good fortune. Te, unto you. Tapaha Siddha, perfect in executing austerities. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhur Mohan Lalita Vishakha Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Krishna Balaram ki jai. Prahlad Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Asi, you are. Kashyapa, O son of Kashyap. Varadaha, the giver of benediction. Aham, I. Anupraptaha, arrived. Vriyatam, let it be submitted. Ipsitaha, desired. Varha, benediction. Translation. Lord Brahma said, O son of Kashyap Muni, please get up, please get up. All good fortune unto you. You are now perfect in your performance of your austerities, and therefore I may give you a benediction. You now ask from me whatever you desire, and I shall try to fulfill your wish. Please repeat. Lord Brahma said, O son of Kashyap Muni, please get up, please get up. All good fortune unto you. You are now perfect in performance of your austerities, and therefore I may give you a benediction. You may now ask from me whatever you desire, and I shall try to fulfill your wish. Purport. Srila Madhvacharya quotes from the Skanda Puran, which says that Hiranyakashipu, having become a devotee of Lord Brahma, who is known as Hiranyagarbha, and having undergone a severe austerity to please him, is also known as Hiranyak. Rakshasas and demons worship various demigods such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, just to take the post of these demigods. This we have already explained in previous verses. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoabhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyaham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Paricharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarane. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhobe Evacha Patita Nama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Shri Brahma Vacha Utishto Tishta Bhadramte Tapa Siddhovasi Kashyapa Varado Ham Anuprapto Vriyatam Ipsito Varaha. Lord Brahma said, O son of Kashyap Muni, please get up, all good fortune unto you. You are now perfect in the performance of your austerities, and therefore I may give you a benediction. You may now ask from me whatever you desire, and I shall try to fulfill your wish. So just to recap very briefly, Jai and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras when they tried to enter the Vaikuntha Loka to see Lord Narayan. Jai and Vijay were given two options: to take birth as 7 times, take birth as devotees, or take birth 3 times as demoniac personalities. So Jai and Vijay, they did not want to be away from the Lord and away from Vaikuntha performing their duties. They chose to take birth 3 times as demoniac personalities rather than 7 times devotees. Now here's one can argue, why did they not become devotees? Why did they choose to become demoniac personalities? This whole reasoning for that, but we won't go into that. So, first birth was Hiranyayaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Second one was Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And the third one, first one in Satyayug, second one in Tretayug, and the third one was in end of the Dwapar Yuga. Shishupal and Dantavakra. So now we're reading, we're discussing Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu became extremely angry, and he thought after Lord Vishnu in the form of Varaha, the boar incarnation, he destroyed Hiranyayaksha, who after plunging the planet Earth from his axis, Lord had to take birth as a boar to pick up the planet Earth at the bottom of the ocean. So Hiranyakashipu thought, along with his demoniac friends, that the Lord Vishnu is partial. He is supposed to be, he did recognize the Supreme Lord as Lord Vishnu, but he thought he was partial because he was favoring the demigods. And so therefore he wanted to teach Lord Vishnu a lesson. And at the same time he wanted to kill Lord Vishnu because the Lord had killed his brother. So Jai, as Hiranyakashipu, wanted to kill and take over the Vaikuntha planet. And how he started doing that, he ordered his friends, demoniac friends, to go down to planet Earth. Or go up, wherever he was. But it says go down to planet Earth and destroy the Brahminical culture which was taking place at that particular moment on planet Earth. And it has been described, we read earlier on in the last chapter, Hiranyakashipu himself admits Lord Vishnu means Brahminical culture. So he thought he will kill Lord Vishnu and he will defeat the demigods. How he will defeat the demigods? By stopping Brahminical culture. What is Brahminical culture? And is mentioned previously in last chapter, whereas yajnas taking place, cow protection is there, study of the Vedas are there, everyone is living life according to the scriptures, much description is there. And he was specifically after the stoppage of the yajnas. And he ordered his friends to go down and destroy all these activities, kill those individuals, especially the sages, saints, and the brahmanas. The reason was, if the yajnas are stopped, the demigods will not get the portion of the offering from this yajnas, and they will be bereft of nourishment. And that's what exactly happened. And then, if they're bereft, and if Vishnu is killed, he will chop his head off, Hiranyakashipu was thinking. Then he will take over the position of Lord Vishnu. He will take over the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now the other interesting point comes, why planet Earth? We also read in some other places, once even Yamaraj went to Lord Vishnu, stating that at one particular point in history of time, all the inhabitants of earth were very pious and they were performing their duties perfectly according to the scriptural rules. And the Yamaraj had nothing to do because no one was coming to Pataloka, to his abode. So he went and complained to Lord Vishnu, I have nothing to do anymore, my Lord. Please give me service. But the point is, the point arises, is it only on planet Earth that this Brahminical culture, these activities, these karmic reactions are taking place? Is it not taking place in other planets? That's some other discussion. We don't have time to go into that. So here, we see Lord Brahma, after, and Prabhupada talks about that, he says in his purport, Rakshasas and demons worship various demigods such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And how do they worship these great personalities? We find in the scriptures these two personalities, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the exalted personalities, are worshipped mostly by all the demons and Rakshasas. You don't find Indra being worshipped, or you don't find other Saraswati or any other personality, Varun, Suryadev, maybe Suryadev, but generally we find Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma being worshipped by these great demoniac personalities. The reason for that, because these two exalted personalities, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, are the most powerful amongst all the demigods, and they're able to bestow benedictions and boons as required by the demoniac personalities. Hardly anyone goes to Lord Vishnu to obtain these demoniac benedictions, because they know, because their aim is to destroy Lord Vishnu or to have fight against Lord Vishnu. Whereas these personalities, Ashutosh, Lord Shiva is known as, and Brahma also, when he sees disturbances in the universal affairs as is happening now, Lord Brahma comes and pacifies the austere performer to keep the equation in the universal affairs balanced. So everyone is happy. So here Lord Brahma and the other sages and demigods, they came. When Lord Brahma was notified, the demigods, and Prabhupada points it out in the previous verses, the demigods went to Lord Brahma from text 12 onwards. They informed Lord Brahma that Hiranyakashipu has been performing severe austerities. The austerity is so severe that he is disturbing the peace of the universe. Great fire and smoke was emanating from his body, which was disturbing, heating up the whole of the universe. So the demigods went to Lord Brahma to inform him that this has happened. And Lord Brahma, along with the demigods and sages like Bhrigu Muni, they come to the place where Hiranyakashipu is performing these great austerities. First, they can't find him. They cannot locate him, because the austerities performed by Hiranyakashipu is so severe that the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh and blood. He was there for 100 celestial years. And Prabhupada points it out that one year of demigods is 6 months of the earth planets. So one day is 6 months. So you can imagine how long he performed those severe austerities. And during that time, the ants, other insects, worms, they've actually eaten up his flesh. And how he was performing his austerities, he was standing on his toe, his arms raised and looking up in the sky. In that particular pose, he performed austerities for 100 celestial years. And during that time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh and blood. And then finally Lord Brahma and the other demigods spotted him. And they were struck with wonder. And Brahma said, no one in the future, no one has ever performed these austerities. And no one ever will perform such austerities. And Brahma says, within these three worlds, who can sustain their life without water? And then what he was doing, so how he was living, if his fat his fat flesh and blood was disappeared, he was just purely bones. There's nothing except the bones. He was sustaining himself, the life is within the bone. It's such wonder just to hear these austerities. Other austerities are performed, we find in the scriptures. Dhruv Maharaj, for example, he performed severe austerities for 6 months. And after 6 months, we don't have time to go through to describe those austerities. Then we find Amba in Mahabharata. She performed severe austerities also. Ravana himself, he performed severe austerities. So anyone want to obtain something, anyone want to gain something, especially the Rakshasas and demons, they take up austerities. And that's why Lord Brahma begins his address to Hiranyakashipu. He says, get up, get up. Get up from what? From all these austerities he had been performing. And austerity, we find, is a measure, is a tool for individuals to fulfill the aims of their life. From a demonic point of view, as Prabhupada says, just to take post of these demigods, and we've already explained these previous verses, and Prabhupada also gives an example of Subuddhi Rai and Nawab Hussain Shah in the purport of text 12. He says in this material world, and that's what we find always and everywhere, even at that time, in previous ages, they wanted to take the demons, they wanted to take the position of the topmost ruler of the universe, Lord Brahma, or Indra, and become powerful. And Prabhupada talks that in this modern world, we also find that individuals are always after positions. And this type of positions, this is whatever level one is at, one is always after position. Position means power. Power means control. Control means exploitation. Exploitation means sense gratification. Sense gratification means remaining in this world. And they want to remain in this world and enjoy this yayedam dharete jagat, as Prabhupada and Lord Krishna points it out. This world is being exploited. And how to exploit to maximum if one has the topmost position in this world. And here, Hiranyakashipu wanted to become not just the controller of this material universe, not just become greater than Lord Brahma, but he wanted to rule Vaikuntha-lok. He wanted to become the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And Prabhupada, and we find this cheating mentality, this deception in this modern world, this disloyalty within the working process. Just like, for example, if somebody is working for a company, let's say, I remember, let's say somebody works for Tata Sky, or somebody works for a refrigeration company or AC company. AC goes down, it becomes faulty, wearing the company sends an engineer comes, and he tells the customer, don't go through the company, I will sort it out myself, you pay me on the side, and we have a deal. So what is that customer, what is the engineer doing? He is, being totally disloyal, deceiving the company. And what he wants to do, what is the mentality? He wants to do the business himself. And what does that mean? He wants to take the position of the company. He wants to become that position of the company. And we find that apprentices, they go to a workplace, they learn, and then they open up their own businesses. Why? Because they want to become that business, they want to control the business, they want to rule over that business, they want to control that particular thing. And we also find that sometimes in our devotional life, that sometimes I'm just right. In one finds that in our devotional life, in a temple, because ISKCON is an institution. ISKCON is not an ashram as such, where one guru is there, or Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Lalita Vishaka Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Krishna Balaram ki Jai, Prahlad Singh Dev Bhagwan ki Jai, Jagannath Vallabh Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. ISKCON being an institution, not just an ashram. Institution means there's rules and regulations. Institution means there is hierarchy. Hierarchy means power, position. And sometimes that brings the worst out of a person, of an individual who's trying to perform devotional service. All of us have the bad side to us and good side to us. And the key of sadhana bhakti is to remain and bring out the good side and diminish and minimize the bad side. By association, by sadhana bhakti, by understanding, by conviction, by following the rules and regulations, by being under the guidance of a spiritual master. But being an institution, positions are there. And Prabhupada also points that out in his purports. Some individuals will come just for the name, fame, and position within this great institution. And Prabhupada warns that. And all this position, power, and recognition, how is that normally comes? By performance of austerities. Even Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita points it out. Yagya danastapashcheva pavanani manishanam. One should never give up yagya dan and tapasya. And even Lord Rishabdev recommends in the 5th 551 to his children, one must perform austerities. But he talks about tapo divyam, not just ordinary austerities. Unless the result of the austerities Brahma Saukyam, unless the result is to understand oneself in relation to the Supreme, and unless that understanding and the performance of that understanding brings happiness in life, Anandamaya Abhyasat, that performance of austerity has no meaning at all. It becomes demoniac determination. And 3 types of austerities are very much described by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 17. In mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, we can read those in great details later. But austerities we find everyone uses. Whether it's Rakshasas, whether it's demoniac individuals, to gain power, name and control. Sometimes we also perform austerities. In fact, we're performing austerities all the time. And Srila Prabhupada very systematically, very scientifically has given day to day, a daily schedule for a life of a devotee in ISKCON. Being an institution, one has to follow certain rules and regulations. And Prabhupada has given this particular daily schedule which is full of austerities. And if one goes beyond this schedule, then that becomes under the category of prayascha, atyahara prayascha. One has to be very careful that while performing devotional service, we must not over-endeavor in our efforts. The different types of austerities generally we find in the scriptures, austerity of some take vows, some take Ashtanga yoga. Kumbh Mela took place 2016. There's a Kumbh Mela taking place now in Prayagraj. One goes and we find great Ashtanga yogis performing great austerities, which we can't think of what kind of austerities they do. So there's different types of austerities are performed. But in ISKCON, the performance of austerities is very simplified, very systematized. Getting up 4:30 in the morning. 3:30. Getting up 3:30 in the morning. Getting up for 4:30, I should say. Getting up 4:30, getting up early, going through the program, morning program, up to 9 o'clock, and then minimum of 6 hours of physical service daily. Besides chanting minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, and reading and studying minimum 1 hour daily. Besides that, if one performs any types of austerities, that it will inevitably come under the realm of prayascha, over endeavor. So in our devotional service, we must also be very careful what type and how much austerities we perform. Otherwise, that can become detrimental to our devotional service. Because sometimes an individual can, on the path of devotional service, we tend to judge others how much advanced they are in devotional service by two symptoms, generally. How austere they are, or how advanced yogi they are, or how advanced jnani they are. These are two of our measures, normally. How learned he is, or how austere he is. But we all know the austerity and this knowledge has no basis for devotional service. For bhakti, jnana and vairagya is needed to push start bhakti. But once the car is push starts, just like Prabhupada gives an example, sometimes in the winter, the battery goes dead. If you start a car, battery goes dead, so you need a push start. Push start means somebody at the back pushing the car and the driver driving. So once the jnana and vairagya push starts the bhakti, but they're not needed anymore. And this bhakti automatically includes jnana and vairagya. But if one just bases one's bhakti on jnana and vairagya only, then we're going to have problems. Everyone's going to have problems later on. Because artificial austerity will harden one's heart. A devotee's heart is very soft. Prabhupada says that at the end of chapter 1, when Arjuna of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna refuses to fight, Prabhupada says a Vaishnava, a devotee, is very soft by nature. And that's a symptom which was shown by Arjuna, and he was fit to receive the transcendental knowledge. So on the path of devotional service, one has to be very careful what type of austerities one performs. Although we may be capable, actually, and the austerities are found in all the traditions of the world, not just Hinduism or Vaishnavism. All the tradition has great austerities. But one who's treading the path of devotional service, one has to be careful and understand what austerity is. One definition of austerity is also when one realizes ourselves being tatastha shakti, marginal energy of the Supreme Personality Godhead, we can either go parashakti or aparashakti, or spiritual energy or material energy. So austerity also, for a devotee to understand, means that we have to take ourselves out of the material struggle. Clutches of Maya one has to take out oneself and try to put ourselves in the clutches of spiritual energy. That's another aspect of austerity, because the living entities always exploiting the nature, material nature. Yayedam dharita jagat. Exploiting not just the resources of material nature, but exploiting each other. We also in the material world. So this exploitation mentality, by lessening or stopping, that's greatest austerity we perform. Not the austerity, yes, there's also austerity, what Hiranyakashipu and the yogis do. But one of the greatest austerity is we're controlling our senses. We have to control who we are. We have to realize who we are. We are Jivere Surupoi Krishnera Nityadas. We're not here to exploit, but we're here to serve. That is one of the greatest austerities for a person, for a devotee who is treading the path of devotional service. That means tolerating. This austerity also for a devotee means tolerance. Matra saspashastu konteya shito shanasukha dukkada. Tolerating what? If something goes wrong with us, many things will go wrong with us. In path of devotional service, nothing is rosy. One should not think everything is okay now. Everything will be okay. Prabhupada compares devotional service to walking on the edge of a razor. And it's a double-edged razor, not single-edged razor. So this path is very troublesome. Troublesome for the crooked, but simple for the simpleton. But it's very troublesome because we are all, our innate nature, all of us in our innate nature is yayete dharete jagat, right? Yayedam dharete jagat. So we naturally, at a little spark, our bad side comes out. And we want to exploit, means we want to have name, fame, power, and we want to put the other person down. Immediately that comes out. And that goes down when the avagunas are there, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Matsarya, when that is taken care of. But until then, there's going to be a lot of difficulties in our devotional life. A lot of difficulties. But a devotee recognizes this. Recognizing them is the first step of conquering them. And accepting, recognizing one thing, accepting is the next stage, and then following a process to get rid of this bad nature is the third stage. Fourth stage is actually following on the path of following on the path of good side of our nature. But most of us, some of us don't even recognize that we have these bad qualities. So these troublesome aspects. There are accidents even on the royal roads, Srila Prabhupada points out. So these accidents will come. And a devotee understands them and tackles them head on under the guidance of a spiritual master, under the guidance of senior devotees. But one should not think that these obstacles will not come. And the greatest austerity for a devotee is how to overcome them. Not performing other types of austerities, which can be used to blackmail or can be used to gain some position. Somebody may go on fasting. Somebody may not speak to the authorities. Somebody may even threaten, I'm going to commit suicide. So all these things are there. But one has to be very careful. So for us, the greatest authority is this understanding who we are and how to act in that particular manner. And Srila Prabhupada also points it out that this renunciation is a matter of attitude, as I said earlier. So this austerity is a matter of attitude. Attitude means accepting what's happening with us is due to our karma, not to blame somebody else. And Prabhupada also points it out, this vairagya and devotion go side by side. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nij Bhakti, Vairagya Vidya, Nij Bhakti Yogam. He talks about that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach that particular aspect. And Prabhupada points it out, our advancement in spiritual life will be shown how renounced we are from the spiritual world. The more renounced we are, the more advanced we are in spirituality. But this renunciation is not artificial. This renunciation means, as Krishna points it out in Bhagavad Gita, we must perform our prescribed duties, but not to be attached to the results of that. That is real renunciation. And that's the greatest austerity for a devotee. We perform our duties, devotional service, as servant of the servant of the servant, and then not be attached and continue in that. And over the time, abhyasena tu kontya, over the time we will become perfect. And Actually, there's so many other points I wanted to mention, but the time is going out. Just final point. This pinnacle of being servant, Jivara Sarup hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das, the pinnacle of being Das, and that's the greatest austerity we, a devotee, and all of us have to face and try to become successful in that. We all want to become servant of the servant, Das, 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 Anudas. But what does that actually mean? That means it's related to the position, as Prabhupada points that out in the purport. That means if I'm servant, number 1 of the servant, I'm servant number 3 of the servant 2 of the servant number 1, right? And then there's a Guru of the Supreme Lord. Let's say in this case, the Guru Maharaj. I'm number 3. I say I'm Das, 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 Anudas, and sometimes we write Das Asmin. In reality, that means one reality, there are many realities. In reality, that means if I do some service, as being number 3, or it could be number 5 or 10, being number 3, only number 2 knows I've done my service. Number 1 will never know. And Guru Maharaj will never know that I've done that devotional, some service. And that means that who I'm doing service for my Guru Maharaj, he may never know. Because number 2 may not tell number 3 that he's doing this service for me. And number 1 will never tell maybe Guru Maharaj that number 2 and number 3 has done this. Down the line. So that means I will not get any recognition. No one will ever know I've done this service. No one ever, especially Guru Maharaj, who I want to please, they will never know that I've done that service. Only Krishna knows. He will definitely know. But so that what it means to be servant of the servant of servant. That means one will never get recognition. One will never given service again. Because number 1 will find number 2 somebody else. And then number 2 will find that so many number 3s available. So that's what it means, and that's a real austerity in devotional service. And that's the austerity. Anyone who's treading on the path of devotional service, we all have to come to the level, and then we can say, yes, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. Today is also, we finished 8:50, right? Today is also, I'll just stop. As I said, so much to say, is also the disappearance of Gopal Bhatt Goswami and appearance of Ramachandra Kaviraj. We all know about them, but especially Gopal Bhatt Goswami, very, very briefly. One of the 6 Goswamis. His Damodar Shila became Radharaman. We all visited Vrindavan. His Samadhi is there. From his father was Venkat Bhatt from South India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed there 4 months. And Gopal Bhatt, Gopal at that time, he served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, moved to Vrindavan. Prabodhanand Saraswati was his uncle from whom he took his initiation. But Gopal Bhatt Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis who actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed to go to Vrindavan and revive the pastimes, places of Lord Krishna. And he told Gopal Bhatt Goswami to assist the other Goswamis to write literature. Hari Bhakti Vilas, for example, and other literatures were written by Gopal Bhatt Goswami. And it is because of him we have one of the original deities still in Vrindavan, Radha Ramanji. And because of him showing us how to perform devotional service, he spent most of his time, 45 years in Vrindavan, most of the time in the banks of the Radha Kund, performing great austerities to please his lordships, Radha and Krishna. Again, so much can be said, but I'm looking at the time here. And Ramachandra Kaviraj, he was a disciple of Srinivas Acharya, and Narottam Das Thakur's friend. And Narottam Das Thakur writes, Ramachandra Sangamamge, Narottam Das. So we know about this. You can read because of the time. I won't say more. But if there's any, I'll stop here. If there's any correction, questions or comments, I'll welcome for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, we'll stop. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand.